So you may be wondering what sine, cosine, tangent, and cotangent looks like. Well, it's quite fascinating if you ask me. It's part of the reasons why I love math. Simple equations can create complex yet beautiful results. So, let's take a look at sine first. Alright, so this is sine. Quite elegant curves that we see along here, but there's something I want you to pay attention to before we continue on playing with this. First of all, notice right at 0, the curve is right in the middle. And second, right after that 0, the curve goes upward and then goes downward and just continues on infinitely. So now that we know these two things, let's throw in a -1 in there. So, not a whole lot's happened, it's just really flipped the whole thing. The curve is still in the middle at 0, but right after that it goes downward and then continues upward and repeats. So, now, if we were to put in, let's say, 1/2, it just kind of stretched it out a little bit. But what can that mean to us to kind of understand that? So, look at 0 and look at 2 pi. You can see it's kind of confusing for that. So, let's get rid of that 1/2 and we'll just go back to the simple sin x. So now, right here, we'll notice that 0 at 2 pi, we notice it completes one complete cycle. Now that we know that, let's bring back in that 1/2. And now, it does not complete that whole cycle. It just goes like that, and yeah, it's half a cycle. So now, if we were to get rid of that and put in a 2 instead of 1/2, it completes 2 cycles between 0 and 2 pi. So that could be a good way to kind of understand that. Now, let's get rid of sine and bring in cosine. This is not a lot different from sine, but there is a visual, as you can kind of see here. Look at 0. Instead of being in the middle of the middle of the curve, you see that it's at the top instead. So, we see that now. Let's throw in a -1 again, and it just flips it again. You can see it starts at the bottom instead. So, yeah, not that much of a difference, as you can see. If I were to put in the 1/2, it would just stretch it, same as sine. It's not a big difference. But, we'll move on to the next one, tangent. So, oh, wow, a little more busy here. Okay, so, we can see tangent here, and between 0 and 2 pi again, there are 2 lines right here. Now, let's take a 2 and throw that in there. And, there is now 4. Let's just go for it. Let's put a 3 in there. Okay. 6. Okay. So it looks like it just increments in 2 of odd numbers. Now, let's get rid of that, and let's put in a -1. Now, a lot doesn't happen here. It just flips it. It just flips it, that's all. Not much of a difference here, as you can see. So if I were to put in a -2 here, you can see it's still flipped, but there's now 4 in here instead of 2. That's all. Now, we'll bring tangent down here, just because we're going to need it later. And now we'll bring in cotangent. So right here, at first glance, it doesn't look like a lot difference other than it matching what we have down here. But remember, that's because it's the negative. So if we erase that, and now this is just a normal tangent and a cotangent, you see that they're just flipped. Well, if you look a little closer, they're actually shifted by half of a pi. So if I were to layer these right here, you can see right here, they don't quite match up. So we're done with tangent now, so we'll get rid of that. And cotangent, again, is kind of like sine and cosine. They're pretty similar, just shifted a little bit. So the same principles for cotangent would apply as it does to tangent. If I were to throw a 2 in there, it would have 4 lines between 0 and 2 pi instead of 2. Throwing a 3 in there would have 6. So, now that we see that, we have a pretty good understanding of this. Yeah, but there's one more thing that I think I wanted to show you. Well, this is it, but I didn't know it looked like this. My friend made this, but be happy, I guess. Alright, so, is there anything else? Ooh. Yeah, okay. Let's go a little faster. What? Nuts. Oh, that's the end of that. Hope you enjoyed that, but guess I have to figure out what to do now. Have a good day.